Alright fam, welcome back to another how-to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And what we're going to be talking about today is how to properly invest your gear when farming for, particularly, I would say this applies to like your journey guide characters, right? And so I'll kind of show, I've got my current journey guide open right now, and then I'll kind of pop through some of the other common ones that we see where you could overinvest where it might not be necessary. And so what I'm referring to here is in the journey guide, right? So we're going to come to the journey guide here with Darth Revan. And so you'll see that it has a requirement, which is 6-star, and then a recommended power here, right? Which is 14,600. Now I want to go to the very last tier where it's saying that my recommended power should be 18,000. So that recommended power does not mean that you need everybody there or even anyone there at all, right? That's just CG putting a number out there, right? And it's always way too high. Like that recommended power is always way too high, at least for every character in your roster. So let's kind of pop open the journey guide here, and we're gonna look at Darth Revan, or maybe we'll go to Jedi Knight Revan first. So Jedi Knight Revan, I have recently, so my T3 here, right? He is below the recommended power here for this final tier. I can tell you that my Mission and Zalbar and Bastila, none of them were this high even when I did the event. The only reason that they're as high as they are now is because I'm going after Darth Malak, and for Malak, the requirement says that they need to be above 17,500 power is the requirement, and the recommended is 21,500. So if you guys look, this is exactly the way that I will be going into this event with. I will have a Relic Jedi Knight Revan, which just naturally throughout the course of the game, I relic my Jedi Knight Revan. A lot of us do. He's a great character. You'll notice that my Jolee and Bastila are not reliced, and right now that's going to be the way that they are. I don't intend to gear them anymore for this event. And then in particular, though, I want to show you my Zalbar, right, who is 17,000, 550 power. I mean, he's barely over that minimum requirement threshold. Here's the reason I did that. So you look at my Zalbar, right? I am gear 10, and I have gear that I could throw on him. Here's the thing, though. If I put this gear on him and I beat the mission, right? Cool. No harm done. But if I don't put this gear on him and beat the mission, I now saved, here are stun cuffs and these, Mark IV comm links, which are tough to find. These, I've got these and, everybody's got those. This, while I have a full piece, these also have stun cuffs in them. So they're really nice to hang on to for when you need to use them. This uses a Mark III holo projector, which are, getting tougher and tougher to keep in stockpile. These Mark 8 biotech implants are definitely always in short supply. And then he needs Carbonis and stun guns, which right now, I have barely any Carbonis. This farm is crushing my gear farm. But you'll notice like the same thing with my Mission, where she's just barely over that threshold. Took her to gear 10 as well, and threw on this piece here. I've always got plenty of these, so I was like, I'll just throw it on her, extra speed. And we'll go to my dark side here too, and you'll see kind of the same thing with my Karth and HK. Karth had to go a little bit higher just because I took him to gear 11, and then he wasn't at that minimum requirement, and I didn't want to gear 12 him, so I slapped the Zeta on him. And I did the same thing with Mission and Zalbar, where to avoid going to higher gear levels, I put Zetas on them. With HK, because he's got these extra abilities down here, I was able to get him to gear 11 pretty easily, put all gold mods on him, and then by slapping this piece, right, again, have so many of those, that I was able to get him over that threshold. My Juani, once I get her to 7 stars, I'll do the exact same. Actually, I won't even do that with her because I will already have my 5 characters, because Bastila Shan Fallen will be, she'll be above the threshold. I plan on relicking her just because I want the relic team, and then Darth Revan will obviously be above it. But as you guys saw there, the general concept was keeping them at just about at that requirement level when there's a required GP. Another event like this is the General Skywalker event, where you'll see that there's required power levels and then there's recommended power levels. Now, obviously, I had, completely meet the requirements here, right? I can tell you when I did the event, I actually have some videos of it where I did it with a lot less gear on my characters. And even when I did it, I believe my 3PO was gear 11, my Shock T was gear 12, and I think I had relics on my Padme, Ahsoka, and General Kenobi, but none of them were above relic 4. So again, not investing in everybody crazily. I think there are videos of people doing this with all gear 12s, but if you throw some relics on some of these characters, I mean, all of them are needed for, like Padme, General Kenobi, Shock T, and C-3PO are all needed for a Galactic Legend. And Ahsoka Tano slots in beautifully with a Jedi Master Kenobi team, and she's a pilot, so she's worth investing in. With the Separatist droids and Asajj Ventress, so my Ventress has not moved an inch since doing the event. Actually, no, yeah, so she's still Relic 2. That's where I took her. My Magna Guard was Gear 12. He's now Relic 5 because of Jedi Master Kenobi requirements. My B2, or my B1 battle droid is Relic 4, and that's exactly where I had him at for this event. I kind of toyed around with it a little bit, but felt that he was definitely the best one to Relic for his damage. I know some people say that Droideka is kind of more important, but he's actually the first droid you normally kick off that team outside of the event. So I was willing to kind of sacrifice doing better in the event for my overall squad. And then you'll see here that my B2 and Droideka are both Gear 12. They're above the minimum requirement, but they're below the recommended. And so there, guys, again, what I was saving is relic levels, right? That like I was saving relics and other materials because I didn't need to go all the way past to that relic, that recommended power level. And, those were some examples at some of the higher levels here, but even like the Bounty Hunter event, the recommended power is 18,000. I think I did this with a lot lower gear Bounty Hunters. I don't think I had a single relic on the list. But as frustrating, like this is probably the most frustrating event, and I know for a fact that my Ewoks, look, I have one Ewok that meets the recommended power, and that's because he has a Zeta on him. None of the rest of these guys have Zetas. None of the rest of them were near the recommended power level, but we got through it. And that is kind of one of those important things to understand, is that by not putting additional gear on these characters, I was able to kind of save that and move on to the next farm faster. Now, there is two sides to this story, guys, right? That there is I'd be amiss if I didn't tell you that by having a full, higher gear on an Old Republic team, right, that it's a decent team for Grand Arena, before you get a lot of other stuff up and running. I'd be lying if I didn't mention that. But from a standpoint of if you're trying, kind of like myself lately, what I've been trying to do is keep from, bloating my roster with things I don't need, right? So I don't need an Old Republic team for Grand Arena because eventually it'll get swapped out for something better, whether it's, a First Order team for Kylo or Darth Revan Malak, right? So I don't need them for Grand Arena. They would be nice to have, sure, I'd love to be able to use them, but I don't need them, right? Where, like, I need First Order to unlock a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, or I need the Bad Batch to unlock Lord Vader. So I've been kind of trying to look at my roster in that regard of doing the bare minimum, and then if needed, throw that gear on them to complete the mission. Like, if I'm struggling to get through the Darth Revan mission with the gear that I have on these guys, maybe I throw a little bit more on. But if I get through it, I didn't waste anything, right? I didn't take HK to gear 12 or throw Zetas on them for nothing, that we got through the event with what we got. So hopefully this helps you guys kind of not just throw gear, throw caution to the wind when, seeing this recommended power and thinking that's what you need. You really don't need that recommended power. Normally you can go a little bit lower than that and do just fine. But anyway, guys, let me know, what you think in the comments if you found this helpful. As always, like and subscribe. It is free and it helps support the channel so I can provide more content like this. So hopefully this video can help you in your future farms and creating rosters that will piss off your opponents when they see just how focused you are and how little bloat there is in your roster. So cheers, fam, and I'll see you in the next one.